Have you ever noticed something strange? The kinder you are, the more people seem to expect from you. If you help once, they ask again. You give a little, they demand more. You stay silent, and they assume you'll always stay silent. And then one day, you wake up exhausted, confused, and quietly resentful, wondering how being a good person somehow turned into being used. This isn't a story about kindness. This is a story about what happens when kindness has no boundaries. There was a man named Elias. Elias wasn't loud. He wasn't ambitious, wasn't trying to be admired. He simply believed one thing. If I'm good to people, life will be good to me. At work, Elias stayed late so others could leave early. At home, he answered every call from friends and family, no matter the hour. With friends, he listened far more than he ever spoke. People described him with the same word again and again: reliable. Elias thought that was a compliment. He thought it meant he was valued. At first it felt meaningful. Helping felt good. But slowly something changed. The requests stopped sounding like requests. They became assumptions. Elias will handle it. Elias won't mind. Elias is always available. And when Elias was tired, he smiled anyway. When he needed help himself, he stayed quiet, because saying no felt selfish. And to him, being selfish felt fundamentally wrong. He was trapped by his own good nature. What no one saw was the invisible cost of his endless availability. Elias stopped sleeping well. His chest felt heavy for no clear reason. He even felt guilty for resting, as if his time didn't belong to him anymore. Worst of all, he began to disappear from his own life. His hobbies faded, his energy vanished, and his own needs became a distant whisper. It wasn't because people hated him. It was because they never had to consider him. He had made himself so reliable that he became invisible. One evening, after another long day of helping everyone else, Elias overheard a conversation. Two coworkers were leaving the office, and one laughed and said, "Don't worry about that report. Elias will fix it. He always does." They didn't say it with gratitude, said it with absolute certainty. And in that moment, Elias understood something painful and crystal clear. His kindness wasn't respected, it was simply expected. He wasn't a person they appreciated. He was a resource they consumed. That night, Elias sat alone at a small cafe, the weight of that realization crushing him. An older woman at the next table who had been watching him leaned over and said quietly, "Hey, you look like someone who gives too much." Elias was too stunned to deny it. She continued softly, "Kindness is powerful, but when it's unlimited, it loses its value. Not to you, but to others." Elias frowned, confused. "I should stop being kind?" he asked. The woman shook her head. "No," she said. "You should stop being available to everyone." The next day, Elias decided to try something new. When a coworker asked him to stay late again to finish their work, he took a deep breath and said calmly, "I can't today." He offered no explanation. He gave no apology. The room went quiet. Someone muttered, "Wow, that's not like you." Elias felt his hands shake. He was terrified. But something else happened too. For the first time in a very long time, he felt honest. He felt like he was finally standing up for himself. Not everyone liked the new Elias. Some called him cold. Others said he'd changed for the worse. The requests didn't stop immediately, but the reactions to his no were telling. But then, something interesting happened. The people who only ever took from him, they slowly started to disappear from his life. And the few who remained, they began to ask differently. They listened when he spoke. They respected his time. They started treating him like a person, not a function. Elias didn't become cruel. He didn't become selfish. God, he became selective. He helped fewer people, but his help started to matter more. He spoke less, but his words carried more weight. And for the first time in years, he felt peaceful without feeling guilty. He learned that his energy was a finite resource, and it was his job to protect it. He was still the kind man he always was, but now his kindness was guided by wisdom. If you're watching this and you're the one who always gives, the one who always helps, the one who feels tired but keeps going because you don't want to let anyone down, hear this carefully. Being kind does not mean being accessible to everyone. Being a good person does not mean abandoning yourself. And setting a boundary does not make you selfish. It makes you wise. Kindness without boundaries will drain you, but kindness with intention will protect you. Be kind, but be strategic. Because the right people won't be offended by your boundaries, they will respect you for having them. Thanks for watching.